Okay, today is Tuesday, February 15th at 6:32 p.m. This is a meeting of the Hanson Recreation Committee. And we will start with, we have everybody in attendance. Welcome to Carolyn Mills, who is our newest commissioner. Welcome to the Recreation Committee. Also in attendance, we have caretakers. I'm not going to go through them all unless we have to. Okay, so first order of business is approval of the minutes for January 31st, 2022. Everybody get a chance to look those over?
Tori, I didn't get a chance to look at the revised minutes.
The revised ones had
They did have that with me leaving the gym and me. Exactly. Okay, thank you. Then I'll make a motion.
Okay. And I will second that. So all those in favor? Aye, Karen, you have to abstain from that.
Yep.
You abstain. That's Okay, awesome. And then, so under new business, we have Beth Black from the Rocky Cub Scout Pack 12. So, Tori, if you want to kind of explain this, and then you want this back?
Oh,
have that back.
Sure, thank you. So, Caroline, so they're requesting Sunday, March 20th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's an annual blue and gold celebration. They're going to have a lot of kids here. And they're wondering if there's any discount on the fee at all. It's a 5-hour event, so it would traditionally be $500. And her question is, would the commission be willing to do any sort of discount for them?
Okay.
Do we know what they're doing here? Like, do we know what buildings and what areas they're using?
She said the lodge, and that there will be food, so we have to talk about that, the details on that. She said it's an annual thing that they do, and it would be the lodge, and it's a,
It celebrates the birthday of Cub Scouting, filled with jokes, skits, songs, and fun.
Yeah, so the blue and gold for Boy Scouts is like a dinner that they do every year. And each pack, part of their troop, does like, skits and songs and things like that. They don't like charge anybody for it. Everybody just, it's like a bottle.
Right.
So.
I have a question.
Cool.
If we were going to give them a discount, would they be willing to help us with volunteer work at the camp or do something?
I mean, this is the Cub Scout pack, so they might be a little.
So they're young.
They might be a little young.
Yeah.
Cub Scouts more like I think like 6 to 7 to 8, something like that.
I wasn't sure.
it's grades 1 through 5.
Okay, so it's the young kids.
Yeah, so 7 to 10 or 11.
So we would just need to provide a caretaker, basically, right, in the lodge. So, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Did she say what she was looking for a discount, or she just wanted us to give her a cost?
Yeah, she was just asking exactly for anything. She just said they have having a financial hardship, more so than they've had in the past, and anything that the commission would be willing to do would be greatly appreciated.
The Cub Scouts, do they fall under like the Boy Scouts too?
Yep.
And so Rockland Boy Scouts, they come here, right, Maddie? To the Rockland Boy Scouts?
But I've been in Hanson.
Women in Hanson?
But I don't know that I've seen
Yeah,
Rockland.
they don't really fall under the purview like the Cub Scouts in Hanson, which they have to do. But I mean, I have no issue with it as long as they pay for the caretakers that they're going to need. I don't know what food situation we have to. They're bringing food, so I don't know what we need to do for that. I guess.
Right, we'll have to get all that ironed out. Yeah, if it's that many people, they would need to have a caterer. Would have to organize a caterer and involve the Board of Health and follow up rules.
And how many people is she?
She's looking up to like 200.
Okay.
A lot.
Okay. And are they doing a caterer or are they doing?
They're going to have to,
Okay.
because it's only 75. Yeah.
Would you put 2 caretakers on that for that, if it was that big? Or?
2 to open, to set up, to do tables and clean and all that good stuff, 1 to close for a party like that. So it would be 3 total. Technically 2, I guess, because 2 would come and then only 1 person would end, but you would switch them off.
Yeah.
So I guess you're only paying for 2.
2 for 5 hours.
2 for 5 hours.
Yeah, because they have to come a little early to do setup, because they usually stay an hour later to close to make sure everyone's gone.
So that's like 150.
Yeah. So I mean I would be fine with them paying $200 for the lodge.
I was gonna say 50%, give them 50% off.
That's what I was
250, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
catering and how to figure that out.
Right.
I don't think they're definitely not gonna be able to bring their own food in here, I don't think.
No,
So,
you can't,
Yeah,
right.
they'd have to figure that out, so.
Yeah.
I'm fine with $250, that's,
Okay.
so. Any other discussion on this? No? Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve, the Rockland Cub Scout Pack 12 discount, and have a 5-hour rental for $250.
So,
Okay, second?
second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Am I allowed?
Yeah, you're on.
You're
Any new discussion, that's, yeah, any new discussion, you feel free to vote on. It's just the old business, if it has to do with something that we talked about in the past, kind of brought up, then you need to take from that.
Yeah.
We technically, I can't tell you to, but, so.
You could vote yes or no,
Yeah,
however you feel.
Yep. Okay, so next order of business is the food pantry for March 11, 2022, from 1 to 5 p.m. They're just looking for a free rental for that, from what I understand. So I think the food pantry is going to send us a email. Did we get anything from them yet?
No, nothing.
Okay, this came from Laura, because she does a lot for the food
Yeah.
pantry, so,
They're considered a department, right?
Yeah, I think so. They do, this is for their St. Patrick's Day dinner.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not even actually gonna be doing, like, food in here, they're gonna be just handing it to people, and they're kind of going, so they're
Yeah.
gonna do like a to-go thing.
Yeah, okay.
So, is there any other discussion on that? No? Okay, so, I will make a motion to, approve, the use for the food pantry on March 11, 2022, from 1 to 5 p.m.
So moved.
Okay, so I have a second? All those in favor? Awesome, 5-0, great. Discussions on submission for the fiscal year 2023 town meeting articles. This is kind of a place setter until
Yeah.
March when we have it. Does anybody have any other discussions or articles that they want to come up with other than the one that we approved at the last meeting, which was dropping down to 5 members?
Nope. The only one that I can think of would be if we had to add the job description, like if the Board of Selectmen and Wage and Personnel doesn't approve us updating the facility manager job description, because it's originally a town-wide, even though it's not a filled position. If they want us to create our own, then we would have to put something on the town article for that,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So that would be like a pending,
Yep.
I suppose, after, our Wage and Personnel meeting.
Okay.
Like a placeholder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And when was that meeting you requested it?
I requested for the next wage and personnel basically. I don't know if it's after the next selectment meeting, which is next Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah, I don't know if they do wage and personnel yet, so,
Okay.
they'll let me know when that's
Okay.
on the plate. So, so we have that. So then, discussion on submission of capital plan article. This is also kind of a placeholder. Dory, do you have anything in particular for this?
Well, at the last meeting, we talked about a few things, and I know Irene had talked about possibly, we thought about feasibility study for
Yep.
the house. So I remember the prior town planner had done something on that. So after a little research, I found out what she had done.
Oh,
With some
that's
service,
good.
that's what we have in front of you. So
I
I,
thought this day, I thought was gonna try to get a grant or something.
yeah, I think so. I think so. So I spoke with this company today, and they're gonna give us an updated, scope, but it wouldn't be a capital plan item, because you can see it's 10,585. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's a ballpark, so we know what we're dealing with. So we wouldn't need to put that on as a capital plan submission.
We would not need to put that on.
Right, it wouldn't fall under the guideline for capital plan, because it's only 10,585.
How much does it need to be in
Yeah.
the capital?
Well, it's up to each jurisdiction, it's usually like 25, thousand to 50,000, a 5-year life, and it's for, I mean, the actual wouldn't do it, if we don't have a grant, that would be, of course, a capital plan item. But this study, if it comes in at this sort of money,
So this is just for the engineering plans, this is not
this
fix anything.
This is just to see what we're up against with asbestos and roof and all that.
Okay.
So there would be a step one.
I mean, so this same company that does the EBI, they're gonna do the gatehouse, can they do other areas of the camp as well? So if we wanted them to come in and do cabinets, if they wanted to come in and do, yeah, Bessie's over there, and things like that. I mean, can we kind of have them do a holistic view of the camp as a whole, give us that plan, so that we can do the capital plan after that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much that would cost. I mean, that would probably be a town meeting article if we wanted to, come in and do that whole stuff.
Yep.
I think that'd probably be be good.
So Dory, if they came back and said like it's $12,000 now, is that something, what town meeting would we go to ask the town for money to do this study?
Well, we would put in an article, you could, not a capital plan article, but an article.
An article?
And ask for exactly $12,000 for this feasibility study. So
Okay.
we do have until March 4th for that, so we could put a placeholder on, so to speak, for that, for this.
Yeah,
I think we should probably do
I
that.
think we should too.
Yeah, I think we should probably do a placeholder
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah,
And then we should have them come back and say, you know, let's just take the whole camp and scope it and see how much that is, and we can kind of pare it down from there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if they come back saying $50,000 for the whole camp, we'd be like, okay, take out the lodge,
Right.
take out, you know.
Well, I mean, realistically, next year, we could probably pay for another feasibility plan for the rest of the camp. But I would rather not wait another whole time, because we'll start being in the red, you know, with the rate increases. You know, but for this year, you know, I hate to wait another whole year of not doing anything with that main house.
I don't know how to wait. So like if we put in the meeting article and they come back to us and,
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I think we should ask for this one at this town meeting, but I don't think we should ask for the whole camp.
Right.
Because I think we could probably pay for that on our own, like next year, you know?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I think, you know, I think putting a placeholder article in place to get the gatehouse estimate.
Yeah.
And then we can bring that to town meeting, if it comes up to $12,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
That will be so I will entertain a motion to add a placeholder article in the May town meeting for the gatehouse estimate on feasibility study, sorry. Gatehouse feasibility study.
The cost
Yeah,
change.
it's updated,
Yeah.
cost will
Yeah.
change.
Yep, the updated one.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
do I have a second on that?
Second.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
What's the actual plan for the gatehouse?
Well, we really don't have, we haven't as a committee discussed that yet, but, I mean, I have my own ideas, and I'm sure Frank and Melissa, you know, I'm sure everybody has, you know, ideas for it. But right now, I think we just need to make sure that it's safe, you
Yeah.
know? So that's what this would do, is it would bring in a company to tell us what we need to do to get that house up to code so that it can be used. You know, my personal, you know, thing is I'd like it to be a little museum for the camp and the office.
Yeah, I agree,
And,
because-
you know, the main office and have like a sitting area with some books and, you know, pictures of the camp and, you know, allow the upstairs as a full bathroom, you know, allow the lifeguards to use it as a changing room and, you know, shower if they wanted to before or after their shifts. So that, I mean, that's my vision, but I'm just one of,
No,
Yeah.
whatever, I just want to see it be used as something.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a waste of a nice building.
and it's on the historic, register, so it is a historic building.
Oh, it is?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so we
I
have to,
didn't
it's our
realize
job
that.
to preserve it. So this would just, you know, run a report, that they would just give us a report of what needs to be fixed. And then we can go out to contractors or whatever and get quotes to actually have the work done.
So, question about this, was this brought up to multiple people to get a quote on how much it would cost to do that?
I don't know, I don't have the background because the prior town planner is gone, the current town planner, this is what he found.
Okay.
So, I don't know that.
Okay, so if we brought a town meeting article, let's just say $15,000 for this study, we're not locked into using these people for that study. We can go find another person and see if there's a cheaper price out there.
We would,
Okay.
because it's over 10,000, so
Awesome.
we would solicit.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve a placeholder town meeting article for the feasibility study for the gatehouse. I have a second from Melissa and from Audrey. All those in favor? It's 5-0. Awesome.
And Mr. Chairman, on the capital plan article still, so at the last meeting, we talked about two other possibilities. We talked about maybe refurbishing all the cabins to the south end and the north end. And we talked about maybe, like, if you said 10,000 per cabin, some may need less, some may need more. That's about like, you know, $300,000. That's a big number, obviously, but we talked about it and don't know if that's something that you want to talk about tonight or put it out to the next meeting and think about it. It's a big number, but
It is a big number, and I mean, I wouldn't want to, I personally wouldn't want to hit the town with, you know, I don't know if it'd be over 7 years that we would do that and kind of do, you know,
Yeah.
$20,000 a year and kind of
Right.
piecemeal it or
Right.
something like that.
Right.
I mean,
Do you want to put a placeholder in for a piecemeal, like a project over 7 years, or?
I'll take, I mean, is the discussion on that, what we think about that?
I kind of feel like, I don't know, the cabins, they're not on the historic register, the cabins. And I think the cabins are gonna be sort of low priority for the town because they're not like a source of income really. You know, I would rather put in a capital improvement article for something, a lodge or, you know, in a building that is on the historic
Okay.
register, because they, you know, I don't want to just submit something just to submit it because they're allowing us to. I think it would be a very low priority.
I mean, so, yes, I agree with you that it's not necessary, but there is things, and I have a report that I actually wrote up that I need to bring in the next meeting, but, there are things those cabins absolutely
Oh, I
need.
absolutely
It's gonna be a pretty
agree with you.
big, there's gonna be a lot of things there that are pretty big, so, okay, so, Sheila, Carolyn, or Carolyn, sorry, or Carolyn, sorry.
I'd like to learn how the cabins are used right now, like, are they used at all?
I would say a vast majority are used for weddings. Yeah, so people
Most
rent
people
them.
actually stay.
Yeah,
They
they rent
do
them
it,
for cabins. Boy Scouts use them for things like that, yeah, maybe some people, things like that, but vast majority of the time use for weddings. I don't know, we'll put that particular one on the agenda for next meeting, we'll figure, I don't think it's a really good idea, but I also don't want to, I want everybody to kind of think about it and
Yeah.
see, you know, if it's something that we want to do. So,
Okay.
okay.
And the only other thing we talked about was the code. And we talked about if we wanted to do a capital plan, I would fill out for that, bring it back and do that like the forest and state.
Now, I do think that that is one thing that the people of the town would want to do.
Right, yeah, I agree. But we don't have costs, we don't have approval yet from the Conservation Commission to do anything down there. So I don't know if we have to have all of that stuff set before we can submit a plan, I don't know.
Right, yeah, sure.
Because we don't have the cost.
We don't have,
Yeah.
we don't have costs, we
Yeah.
don't have anything. We know what we need to do,
Right.
but we need to write our own engineered plan for the Conservation Commission and.
I mean, there is always the opportunity to add something that can be, I think, to CPC and the special town meeting involved. Is that a possibility to do that?
Oh, yeah.
If we come up with a plan over the summer of how.
Yeah,
we're
sure.
looking at it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that probably be better to wait until the next
Okay.
town meeting. Any other thing for capital plan?
Those were the only things we talked about, yeah.
Okay, so next on the agenda is service age certification for caretakers. I asked this to be put on the agenda. We need to have people who are going to be here that are able to serve food. If we don't have caterers or something like that, if we have an event here, there's stipulations on how, what we need. I talked to the Board of Health, and they said that there was, we need like an allergen, a manager. But Dory got some more information from Teresa, Board of Health.
Yeah, I did get some from the Board of Health company, they're out of Plymouth, and I spoke with them. So there's 3 options for the food manager certification. They're similar, but there's a little bit of difference. The cost of one is $195. The cost of another is $140. The cost of a third one is $105. They both involve getting books, studying, and taking an exam. It's all online. The other option, though, that I found out is it's a food handler's card, and that's only $10, and that allows a caretaker to handle food.
Right.
So I can look into it. I wanted to see what your thoughts were on that. I know you wanted it on the agenda, so I wasn't quite sure where you were going with it.
I would get anything that we think we can do approved by town board of health. And if they say that that's okay,
Yeah.
then we should absolutely do that option. If they say that they want an allergen manager, whatever, then we should definitely go with that one. I don't think $105 is unreasonable for.
Why are we all of a sudden responsible for all of that?
I don't know if we are.
Right.
So when a caterer comes in for, we're not, right? Because the caterer has the
Right.
service certification.
Yeah, right.
If we ever had an event here at the camp,
Yeah.
the spectacular, the winter wonderful, everything like that, if we wanted to hand out any type of.
Right, I get that, okay,
We
so
would have to have
that's if we
somebody.
didn't have a caterer.
Correct, if we didn't have a caterer, and I'm not, I don't want to have everybody service certified.
Right.
It should be, event caretakers that would be safe certified, and there only has to be, from my understanding, there only has to be one manager, and everybody else can be kind of safe, like regular safe.
Okay.
So, it's one of those things that the Board of Health wants us to do. If we have like a movie night here, we want to hit up
I
popcorn.
gotcha. I thought it was just like, all of a sudden, they're like, you have to have your caretaker
No.
certified.
No, it's,
For caterers.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
caterers, the
okay.
caterers are the ones,
Okay.
they have to provide that to the Board of Health when they have their license put in for
Gotcha.
what
We can't even handle popcorn. We have to-
Yeah.
And it's good to have.
Yeah, oh, I agree, I just didn't know why all of a sudden it was a thing.
Yeah, I'll check with the Board of Health tomorrow.
Yeah, we can check with the Board of Health, and then we
Yeah.
can put this on the next agenda, we can vote on it. I believe they do like, the online classes would probably be better, I think it's only like a 4-hour class or something along those lines, so. Okay. Any other discussion on safe certification for caretakers? Awesome, okay. And the next discussion that's been tabled for like 8 meetings. Discussion on painting the lodge walls. There's a lot of walls in here, which wall are we talking?
The walls in here and out through the bathrooms.
Okay,
That area there. These walls are not getting painted, we're not painting any bare wood.
okay. Okay, so, I'm right, I'm gonna assume that you're the one who wants to paint the walls. You kind of.
Well, there's no damage on them, so obviously they have to be painted. The question is, do we want to change the color, brighten it up a little bit out there?
I like the color, I think it's very neutral, and I think, we've got 56 weddings coming up this year, and every bride has seen that wall, so they're, planning on what they've seen.
What is it, like a beige?
It's just, it's a very neutral beige, that's all. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to going a shade lighter, but it's also a nice warm room with ambiance, so I wouldn't want to go too bright in there.
And there's lots of brown, I mean, the
Yeah.
furniture's brown, the floors obviously are wood, so
Yeah.
you kind of want to, and then you've got the wood trim at the top.
Right.
Well, it's nice that you mentioned the wood trim. Notice some of the wood trim is not even the same colors.
Well, she's talking about the shelving up top, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, facing here, you got purple over here, you got brown here. It changes in a few areas there too, the trim. But the big thing is, you've got plaster showing out in the main room there. It's got to be covered over with something.
Sure.
And it's time to change and update it. Do we want to change to a different color, something different? Not to pick on the brides at all. I don't think they're basing their colors at all on what we have here.
Well, but they know it's a neutral wall. They know it's a neutral place.
Yeah.
So that's,
Do we have, I'm sorry, go ahead, Sheila.
When you say a brighter color, what's your idea?
Well, one, I want to, instead of having a flat color, I want to do a satin or something, a little bit of a shine to it. Easier to wash if it needs to be washed or whatever. We have discussed a couple of colors.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah,
So these are the ones with the
Pantry's on blue. I like blue.
I'm scared of them.
Okay.
I'm
No,
not
that's
gonna
okay.
be near you.
It's just, no, because it's a hard no for me.
we got like a light blue and a.
It's a couple of different blues.
Yeah, so
I would have to say, I love those colors,
Yep.
but not here.
That's fine.
That's like a Caribbean
It's
color.
just.
So Rhonda, I don't want to put this discussion off to another meeting.
That's
But what
fine.
I'll ask is that you guys collectively come together with, you and the other caretakers might want to come up with a spread of colors that you might think that's good, and then just bring them to us, and then we can.
Can we just keep the color?
If you want to keep, if you want,
Yeah,
if you guys have any sense, you want to keep that color, that's
Yeah.
fine. I just want to turn it to, instead of like I say, a flat to a shiny.
That's fine, I don't care about the finish on it, but I just don't want it to go, I just don't want to change the neutral
Yeah.
warmth of that room.
Yeah,
That's fine.
because you would have to turn around and like change all the decor to match
That's fine.
any other color and,
Yeah.
you know.
Not a problem. If,
Are you thinking of changing the trim too? Because I know you said like that door's purple, that wall, that mirror's purple, and then we changed the colors on those for a play.
I hadn't really get into that, but while we're talking about it, what's your opinion? Should we bring them all in
I-
or leave them like they are?
I like the color that the doors are, because it's like a, no, the door, the openings. That color. See how the door on the kitchen and the door around the mirror is more purple?
Oh,
And those are like more burgundy.
Yeah. So everybody like this one here?
I do.
yeah, it's better.
I like that better than that.
Yeah, no, that-
So get rid of the purple and put them all in the back.
Yeah.
Maybe that's.
We can do that.
I don't think do we need a vote for that? I don't think we need a vote.
No.
No, just an opinion, and it's okay to have staff do some basic.
I'm gonna abstain my opinion on this.
Lots of questions.
Yeah.
Why are random places with the wood painted, but the rest is not?
That's a great question.
I don't think anyone can answer this question here.
Maybe that's why those two things not painted.
Yeah, like those on, you come around and I was looking like, oh, all the colors, and then I'm like, but wait, there's wood.
Yeah.
There's wood.
You're absolutely right. This was done before I was here.
Yeah, like Roger said, I don't think anybody sitting in this room knows why.
I know why those two openings are different color, and it's because we painted them for a play. This was a living room scene,
Yeah.
and that was actually, that whole mirror was all covered up, so you didn't see that. So that, I know why that was changed. The original color is the purple. The purpley color is the original trim color.
Okay,
So
we'll get rid of purple.
what if we sanded them down and brought them back to wood look? Instead of paint?
Go back to like the trim that's
These are a lot more hours of labor.
Like around the-
Money
I'd
should
like to see
be
those way down on the.
I think to do that, you have to remove it and put up new.
You'd have to pull them down.
Yeah.
In order to do
To
that.
sand it down, but do it.
Because then if you did it on the sides, you'd risk doing them, getting the walls into it and everything like that.
That has to be removed and replaced.
I mean, I think the beige color that's in there.
In my opinion, just the ones that are painted, paint them all one to match, call it a day there, and take care of the walls in here and around where the restrooms are.
Yeah, like if I would say if you want to make one, this door, that door's purple, too, right? Is that?
That
is
door's brown.
Okay, that door's brown. I mean, I would say you probably make it some different colors.
Actually, burgundy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would say, if you want to make like, so these five trims seem to be a similar color right here.
Right.
So I would say, whatever this color is right here, I would just make the other ones match.
Absolutely.
And so I would include this door though, I would include this door.
Yeah.
I would include this door right here.
Go
the
to the
library.
Whatever trim is painted, it's gonna get painted one color.
Okay.
If it's not
If
painted,
it's wood,
it's probably
paint it.
acceptable.
Leave it, and then beige in the
And
hallway.
you can do
there.
the different sheen or whatever the.
Right.
Yeah, and the different sheet is
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. Okay.
If we just authorize the hours for staff to do paperwork, we'll get it done.
Yeah. I mean, well, how many hours will that take? I mean, no, I don't think we have to. So Maddie, everybody else can work.
We'll get it done.
Maybe, I don't know. She looked at me like I was. So I don't know, we don't schedule hours here, how you guys do it?
No, that's fine.
You guys,
Amongst us, we'll get it taken care of.
okay.
Do we have money in the budget to pay people right now? I mean, are we still on a strict 3 hours a week or whatever it was?
Well, yeah, if you want to go to the next, is the status of the FY '22
Okay.
budget.
So before we go over that one, let's just, so when we have, I mean, how long would something like that take, I guess, is the general question.
I don't know, sand it down, paint
Do
it.
it every day.
Door trim is, what, half a day for 2 people?
Yeah.
The painting, can't be more than 8 hours worth of man-hours in the
I
painting.
don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah.
high. I don't think
No, you
it's-
did ballpark.
Basically, you
Yeah.
don't want to take it.
That would be okay.
Yeah, I think so,
Yeah.
8 hours
Yeah, yeah.
for 3 people. 8 hours each or
8 hours.
8 hours?
I don't know.
I've been going super slim, so I would like to confirmation saying I can put hours in for this.
Okay, so what we can do is we can, so like, okay, we should be able to piecemeal it, though, right? Like, I mean, there's gonna be.
Some of them might be able to get done during shifts, like I've been doing the, butcher block tables, times I've been here.
Yeah.
So,
It's not the whole-
they're getting done for free, more or less they get done for free. Before you leave, you may want to take a peek at them and see how clean
I'll
up
go
they
to
are.
what you want to.
Yeah,
So
so-
I'll take a look at it before. What's that, Tori?
I was saying, there's no real weddings in here until people, so they can piecemeal, you know, they
Yeah.
don't do it all in one thing. you know?
We have events though, we have events coming up,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't want it to be like half painted. I mean,
No,
we can
no,
kind of
what
get the
I'm
hair
saying-
back on and the next one and then like in chunks, but.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
one day you can do like this trim in the mirror.
Right,
One day you
right,
can do, yeah, you
Yeah.
just don't have to do it all at once for like 1 week
Yeah.
or stuff, just like piecemeal and do like, you know, 2 walls, stuff like that. I don't know.
Well,
Or, you know what, call Sheila, because Sheila wants to. Sheila's volunteers, so please find
Finish the wood while the meeting's going.
Okay, so let's go on to old business. So we got status of the fiscal year 2022 budget. Dory, I'll let you take this one.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is always on the agenda, and this is just a snapshot of today. So you can see up at the top of the salary, we are low, obviously, the top, we're in the negative in the first, camp staff wages. But we're funneling through, this is the second one. We will run out, but if you look down, we were able, I think I mentioned before, in May, June to end of year transfers. And I think we're going to be okay because we do have money in 2 line items that I think we're going to, if you look at maintenance supplies, it's over 6,000. And if you look at contracted services, there is 5,000. So, and the way it's looking, I don't think we're going to be spending that money. So it changes, it's a clearer picture as we get closer and closer. But today, I think we're going to be okay. I think we'll be able to make that transfer, and it's tight, but I think we'll be able to do it. But we will need to be making a transfer, which is a vote of the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee.
Okay.
To make that happen.
Okay.
So it's not bad.
Do we need to be put on the agenda for that, or did you want to ask that, or
That-
do that later on?
Yeah, that would come later on. I think what I'll do is have a discussion with the town accountant. I'm thinking maybe even like March, and just get a clearer picture, and then, yeah, we would absolutely put it on the agenda for their end of year transfers.
Okay.
Yeah. If we
What
need
is
to,
it,
whatever we do. Pardon me?
Yes. Sorry, Roger, go ahead.
The supplies for cleaning and all that, does that come out of the maintenance that you're talking about, that money?
Yep, that's maintenance, right, so paint.
Well, not just the paint, but we're gonna have to order some supplies for the bathrooms and all that type of stuff at some point in time.
Yep, right,
So you need a little money for that,
yep,
so we can get that taken care of.
yep.
Okay.
Do you know what you're gonna need to order? Has anybody taken stock on what's needed?
I haven't, yet, I do have some supplies up there, and they're upstairs now. But we will have to put an order in, probably 500 or less.
Okay, can you get kind of like a list going of what you need, because also this would be good for the caretaker's manual that we were talking about as well, of having at the beginning of season, supplies that you guys need, and, so we have that kind of rolling supply list every year that we order at a certain time or something like that.
Well, this is new to me as far as ordering, so I gotta kind of learn how fast supplies leave.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, but what I'm saying is that, just when you guys do that, then just
Absolutely.
keep track of it.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, is that it for the fiscal year 22?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so next agenda item, which is a big one, and I'm gonna pass this off to Audrey.
Before we move on, Roger, when you come up with that list, can you just review it with Manny? Because Manny will know the history, the historic usage of the items, so, I would just feel more comfortable before we spend hundreds of dollars if there's something that we don't use or we have, or I don't know, something. I would just feel more comfortable if Manny.
I would expect everybody to have a hand in kind of that list.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. Once I put all the supplies together upstairs, this supplies there that we don't use,
Right.
and I'm using them. Instead of putting them in the bathrooms and stuff, I'm gonna use some of the paper towels that don't fit in the dispense and stuff. For some reason, somebody, in order really fast, they'll get used for cleaning and that type of stuff. So, yes, we're gonna use up what's there, but absolutely, any input is
Yeah,
great.
okay, thank you.
I was gonna say really quick, we made a list over the summer, we were trying to track supplies, and I think it just fell through that we didn't have it, but, that we had a lot of caretakers. But I'm wondering if I just put it on my list when we were talking about it, if we make a running list on sheets, and we can just update it during the summer, maybe like bi-weekly, but during the winter, we can have like monthly, just to see what we're running out of. Because we are going through stuff with drama kids and all that kind of stuff too, it's just not as extensive rate as the weddings, but I think that was a struggle too, is we didn't realize we were missing until it was gone, and we weren't, there's no way we were tracking to keep track of things.
So, you know, one person who will keep track of that is the people that buy them. They should be able to give us a list of inventory of everything in the last year that they've sold us. And we can just we can go there and say, okay, during the summertime last year, we used 150 rolls of paper towels, right? And we can go and say, okay, this is about approximately what we need. We can order it either ahead of time or, you know, in increments and have them ship a certain amount every week. So,
Who do we use, Roy? Who do we order supplies from?
WB Mason.
WB Mason.
so yeah,
They
have.
definitely will have a usage report.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that could be a good starting point for what we need for supplies for everything for the whole year. You know, they probably even have more than just a year, but I mean,
Dory, do you have all the bills in one folder?
I can actually,
For W-
in the WB Mason website, I can pull up our activity.
Yeah.
Okay.
She should be able to pull a report right off the website so that it'll
Okay.
show you exactly what you ordered.
That'd be great.
Yeah. All right.
awesome. Okay, any more discussion on this being a 2022 budget? Pretty good? Okay, fantastic. Okay, so next is the status of the job descriptions. I'm going to hand this off to Audrey and Sheila, so you guys can take control.
Yeah,
So,
so Sheila, Maddie, and I met, and we went over, we did 3 job descriptions. We revamped the Camp One caretaker job description, which existed, and then there were 2 job descriptions that are wage and personnel approved job descriptions, job titles, and they're not being used anywhere else in town. So we're hoping that, well, for the event coordinator, that was specific to Camp Kawani. So we rewrote that one, and then the facilities manager, which was town-wide, however, it's not a filled position. So we're hoping we can just tweak the job description, and we didn't really have to change a whole lot on that job description, just, you know, town buildings to Camp Kawani and things like that. So so why don't we start with the caretaker, because that one was already created. So the original caretaker report, I have it here with all my notes on it. It was step by step what they should be doing is like walking the grounds twice a day, security. It gave tasks more so than a job description. So it patrol the grounds twice daily, remove dead limbs and brush from the grounds, prepare facilities for spring. So it had a lot of just tasks on here, so we thought that we were creating this caretaker manual, it would be better to keep those sort of tasks in a caretaker manual and just refer to it. So the job description, we didn't know qualifications was something that wasn't part of it, so we did 16 with ages 16 and 17-year-olds following age-restricted work conditions. And then excellent oral communication, ability to work well with people from diverse backgrounds, guest relations, must be able to communicate with patrons of the campground, understanding emergencies and escalation points, must be able to work well with all age groups, must be able to work with other employees, strong ability to listen and take direction, flexible schedule, and reliable transportation. Physical aspects, ability to understand safety regulations and procedures. So some of these things we took from the facility manager because they were great, they made sense. So ability to both visually and auditory to identify and respond to safety and environmental hazards and inform workers, staff, and guests. Physical strength to lift equipment and supplies up to 50 pounds. Physical mobility and endurance to perform tasks while standing, walking for long periods of time. Ability to safely and properly use power tools and equipment. Physical ability to endure prolonged standing, bending, stooping, stretching, hand-eye coordination, and manual dexterity to manipulate equipment. Physical ability to respond appropriately to situations, fire, evacuation, illness, injury. Must have ability to access small work areas, climb ladders, and work in various heights and weather conditions. Must be able to assist and perform all tasks assigned 2 personnel under his or her responsibility as described in the job description. Job duties, work with a head caretaker or facility manager for daily tasks, refer to the caretaker manual for seasonal tasks under the direction of the facility manager and caretaker. Examples, cleaning, event setup, event breakdown, outdoor projects, outdoor cleanup, event staff, etc. And then I added additional responsibilities for the head caretaker because that wasn't in the job description. And Maddie has that role, so it would be all of the duties of the caretaker, schedule staff for events, assign daily tasks, coordinate the training of new employees, coordinate with the facility manager, event coordinator, and administrative assistant, attend recreation commission meetings for updates, plan future projects, communicate with caretakers.
Looks good. Is there any discussion
Any
on that?
discussion on that one?
The only thing, so it's qualifications and then physical aspects. It doesn't really delve into exact, I mean, it says examples of what they're going to be doing, but maybe we should, you know.
Well, that would be what the caretaker manual would do. The caretaker
Yeah.
manual would really kind of get into exactly what.
Well, I was thinking like if we had to post, like say we had to post this somewhere, does the person that's looking at this really know what they're going to be doing?
Well, I think if we
you know what I
posted
mean?
something, it would be, we would post a job posting, we could put more information into
Okay.
a job, into a job posting.
Yeah, like a header or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that looks great.
Okay.
A lot better than it was before. And it's in the same format too, which is.
Well, yeah, because I took it all off of the facility manager one, I just kind of copied and pasted. Event coordinator. So this was also an existing job description that had very little. It was actually more for. Here's the particular one. It was more for somebody who was going to be planning events here, like they would be bringing in and creating recreation here. So that's not really how we want this position to go now. So I rewrote this whole thing too. So, we rewrote this whole thing. So the purpose of the position, to assist in rentals and special events, the position is under the general direction of the Recreation Commission. Qualifications, high school diploma or equivalent, flexible schedule, must be able to work weekends, reliable transportation. Essential functions, always great patrons with friendliness and enthusiasm and a smile. We kept that from the original. Return phone calls and emails, booking rentals, specifically wedding rentals, completing the playbook required for each wedding, following up with rentals, floor plans, missing information, perform tours for prospective renters as needed, attend wedding rehearsals as scheduled, working weekends as needed, other tasks as assigned by the Recreation Commission. Knowledge and skills and ability, comfortable working with various age groups, strong ability to listen and give direction. I put give direction instead of take direction on this one because I feel like they might be giving direction to the caretakers on what needs to be done, so I felt that was a little bit different. Exercises good professional judgment on the operation and management of activities, works well with the team, hardworking, reliable, planning and organizing, and scheduling skills, ability to communicate procedures and regulations to staff and guests, excellent oral and written communication skills, ability to work well with people from diverse backgrounds, physical ability to endure prolonged standing, bending, stooping, and stretching, guest relations, must be able to communicate with patrons of the campground, understanding emergencies and escalation points, must be able to work with other employees.
That's essential.
Any comments on that?
So originally, the event coordinator, when we had a rec director at the time, the rec director was going to be responsible for programming, bringing in programs, doing all that. We don't have a rec director anymore. So we had talked about this being that person because we don't obviously have a position in the whatever. So that would be my other question, like where do we want to go with programming? If this is going to be an event coordinator, kind of like an event caretaker, event coordinator / event caretaker, where is the programming going to come from?
I don't know, because I thought we were, with this, we were doing this to take some of the work off of Dory's schedule, Dory's workload, because the weddings, there are so many weddings.
Right.
And there's so much information that's needed, that it's like, it's impossible. You know, Dory has Renee a few hours a week, and it's just not enough. And Maddie's, you know, the caretakers, Maddie's not getting all the information that she needs for weddings. So I think this, because that's where our money comes from, this really has to be the more important way that this position goes, in my opinion, you know? Because if we screw up weddings and, you know, we're missing information and we don't look at.
And then there's the pressure of, you know, you're the rec commission, you're supposed to be providing recreation for the town.
Right. Well, I mean, honestly, I think that comes from the board. I think that comes from us.
But that's the other thing, like, we all have full-time jobs.
Right.
It's very difficult for us to do that.
So-
You know, like that's,
So, I mean, we still have the rec director position on there, right? So like,
Right.
if we wanted to, if we had a rec director that came up to us and was like the perfect rec director, wouldn't we be able to still hire them if they're on there, or how would that work? I don't, so like, say tomorrow we had somebody come in and do the rec director position, and we wanted to hire, like, how would that work? Would we be able to do that?
Yeah, it would all obviously be based on funding, naturally.
Yeah.
But yeah, the director position is still, I don't know that it's, like, in the town meeting warrant, I don't know if it's listed on there, but I know that it needs to be. But, yeah,
Well, would that come out of our funding, or would that come out of the town funding?
Our funding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hundred actually. Is this a full-time position?
No, it's part-time.
What, like 20 hours a week?
What is it, I don't know what a part-time position is,
I'm
or,
just wondering if it could be like part of the, almost just somebody that can advertise or try to get.
yeah, definitely.
solicit.
Yeah, I mean, they do more under the direction of the Recreation Commission, so they definitely can do that.
I mean, I would take this as during the summertime, that this particular position would be all weddings, and then during the winter time, if
Slow?
when it's
Yeah.
slow, it could definitely go back to
Yeah.
recreation, right? I just don't, I agree with Audrey, but I don't think it's sustainable to just have Dory and Renee here, you know, 2 hours a day or two. I mean, we make so much money doing weddings that we absolutely have to nail
No,
it.
it's definitely-
Yeah. I mean, so, you know, with that, it says other tasks assigned by the recreation committee. I mean, you know, whoever interviews for this position as an event coordinator should know that, you know, during the off-season, you know, just try to do some recreation as well, try to do some events
maybe
for
we
the town.
add maybe some programming
Sure.
to that,
Yeah.
maybe some
And do some-
event planning,
yeah.
programming.
I mean, I would imagine anybody who's an event coordinator likes to plan events, so, and like, there's a slew of people here who definitely help everybody on this committee, obviously, so, you know, I think that during the off-season, that they should definitely be able to do recreation. Mr. Weeks?
Really good question. So, event coordinator and a rec director, you have lines for all of them. What happens if you actually hire them? Read it fast, try to catch it. Who do they report to? It says they report to the rec commission. So now you fill in 2 different offices, they both have to be formal. Priority is one reports to the other, just as you need to.
If we had, we haven't been writing rec director into any of our policies because we don't have a plan in the immediate future to hire a rec director. So we, you know, it wasn't written into I mean, technically when they had I wasn't on the board ever during a rec director time, but from what I understand, it was the rec director and everybody reported to them. So caretakers and, you know, the facility manager and, you know, everybody reported to them. We don't have that, so we're trying to, you know, gear everybody to reporting to us. And then, you know, I think if we do decide, you know, in a couple of years, we can afford a rec director again. I mean, right now, it's just not in our funding and our budget. So if we can afford one again in a couple of years, then we could just, you know, tweak some of the job descriptions to report to the rec director.
So it's kind of like across the room, you get there.
Yeah,
And that's totally fine, I'm just thinking if you did get the funding, things got to open up. You
Yeah.
have so many are focused on weddings and all those events, that it gets even more successful than it already is. And other than your point, you bring these people in, what is that reporting going to look like?
yeah.
How are they going to share the space and responsibilities and hierarchy? Well, so-
Yeah, I would, get a little off top of the rec director. I would imagine, like Roger said, that every rec director would just manage that role and help with the programming and things like that. So, but, I mean, if we can write into the event coordinator and do, events on the off-season and
Yeah.
things like that, I think that'd be good.
Have that off-season recreation planning. Okay, and then the last one's a big one. So bear with me, because these glasses are too strong, they're cheaters and they're too strong, so.
Is this brand new? Do you want me to?
No, it's from-
So this is in town.
Do you want to read the line and I'll read the line?
Yeah, let's do it.
Poetry class.
No, I'll go, I'm good. All right, so because a lot of this was already here. So what we changed was town buildings to Camp Kawani. We took out a couple of things like, I don't even remember, but we took out a couple of things that really had nothing to do with the camp. So the primary function of this position is to direct all aspects of the building facility operations at Camp Kawani, including maintenance, repairs, and renovations by town employees, contractors, assess the quality of work performed, and supervise the completion of work through review of reports, frequent site inspections, and conferences with the Recreation Commission, as well as perform skilled and semi-skilled maintenance tasks in repair, maintenance, and upkeep of Camp Kawani, including carpentry, mechanical, custodial, and basic non-licensed electrical, plumbing, and HVAC work in accordance with OSHA safety regulations, town policies, and procedures, observing all safety regulations, ensuring all quality standards are met, and safe, courteous, and professional behavior is observed in all situations. Supervision works under the general direction of the Recreation Commission, coordinating administrative functions with the administrative assistant. Essential job functions. Responsible for the development and implementation of a maintenance management system, prevention, predictive, correction, and routine maintenance. Oversee the purchase, use, and care of all maintenance equipment and supplies. Implement systems for regular maintenance and upkeep of the buildings and grounds, including duties such as mowing, snow removal, painting, etc. Schedule for routine maintenance and vendor contracts on equipment and schedule and services including trash removal, housekeeping, recycling, septic, air conditioning, etc. Work with the Recreation Commission and other various town groups to assess and prioritize the working list of essential repairs, improvements, and preventative maintenance needed at Camp Kawani. Supervise and coordinate staff engaged in maintenance and improvement of Camp Kawani buildings, equipment, and campgrounds. Train all caretaker staff and oversee job assignments. Train and supervise staff in the proper use of equipment and small tools. Ability to motivate, supervise, and train caretaker staff, and supervise contractors such as electricians, plumbers, HVAC, mechanics, and technicians. Schedules staff and is accountable for the quality and quantity of work done by subordinates and contractors to ensure accomplishments of assigned work in a prescribed manner. Approves vacation schedules and advises subordinates of performance requirements. I highlighted that because I don't think that I don't think we've worked out who's going to do the scheduling, and they definitely wouldn't do the performance. Well, they would participate in that, I suppose, but.
Who would approve the vacation schedules? Wouldn't that be
I don't think anybody approves vacation schedules, right, Maddie? No, they just.
I've never seen.
Yeah, so they just say, I can't work this week, or, whatever. It's not scheduled for that week, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, but they would be with performance reviews and things like that. They would be
Yeah.
directly tied into that.
Yeah, they would be tied to the performance reviews. Work with the Recreation Commission and administrative assistant in preparing the annual budget regarding expenditures and the purchasing of equipment, supplies, and inventory. Respond to emergency calls for all alarm services or building emergencies. Arrange for obtaining appropriate license, permits, external inspections, including fire inspections, electrical evaluations, and health department inspections. Keep accurate records of work performed by staff, volunteers, vendors, and contractors. Maintain all warranty and manuals regarding all supplies and equipment. Develop and revise written standard operating procedures. Follow the town of Hanson's financial and procurement procedures. Conduct initial and end of season inventory. Develop a schedule for checking the physical site and equipment for safety, cleanliness, and good repair. Other job duties, assist in the short and long range planning of Camp Kawani. Supervisory functions typically consist of most of the following: plans, schedules, coordinates work operations to meet schedules, deadlines, and priorities. Receive work schedules to meet the changes in workload or availability of manpower. Ability to meet and deal with the public, town employees, town officials, building tradesmen, architects, and engineers effectively and appropriately. Qualifications. The position requires a high school diploma or its equivalent, plus 2 years working in the site and facilities field, 2 years experience in the following areas: supervision, training, scheduling of staff, budget development, facility and site management, maintenance, construction, CPR, first aid certification plus. Knowledge, skills, and ability. The position requires working knowledge in areas of engineering, painting, carpentry, electrical wiring and controls, plumbing, vehicle and machinery operations, proficiency in the safe and proper use of power equipment and tools, heavy and light machinery, and building materials. Must have knowledge of proper techniques in the following areas: construction, carpentry, plumbing, electrical, groundskeeping. Experience working with vendors, suppliers, and service providers. Previous experience supervising outside contractors. Solid skills in basic maintenance. Project management skills and the ability to resolve complex problems and issues. Planning and organizing and scheduling skills. Knowledge of facility standards, codes, and regulations. Knowledge of capital improvement. Physical aspects of the position. Ability to understand and implement safety regulations and procedures. Ability to communicate procedures and regulations to staff and guests. Ability both visually and auditory to identify and respond to safety and environmental hazards and inform workers, staff, and guests. Physical strength to lift equipment and supplies up to 50 pounds. Physical mobility and endurance to perform tasks while standing and walking for long periods of time. Ability to safely and properly use power tools and equipment. Physical ability to endure prolonged standing, bending, stooping, and stretching, eye-hand coordination, and manual dexterity to manipulate equipment. Physical ability to respond appropriately to situations and emergencies, fire, evacuation, illness, or injury. Excellent oral and written communication skills. Ability to work well with people from diverse backgrounds. Must have the mobility to access small work areas, climb ladders, and work in various heights and weather conditions. Must be able to assist and perform all tasks assigned to personnel under his or her responsibility as described in their job description.
That was, I feel like Stevie Wonder song like that. That was like Gettysburg Address, that was good. Awesome.
Thought it was scripted.
To memorize all that.
Okay, is there any discussion about any of those 3 positions that we have there? I personally think that you guys did an awesome job. Thank you very much. Because
I just want,
Yeah,
for
go
the
ahead.
facilities, just for the qualifications, should we put like municipality experience as a plus?
Yeah, that would be great.
Is that a plus though? Is that a plus? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's very different.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so if there's no other discussion on this, I will make a motion to approve these 3 job descriptions with the amendment that Audrey's going to make on the event coordinator to do off-season recreation. Do I have a motion? Oh, was there a hand? Did you have your hand up?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Is there a, sorry, just got all thrown off here. Do I have a,
Is this part-time, is this a part-time or is this?
They're part-time.
This is-
Yeah.
oh, they're all part-time.
All of them are part-time, yeah.
okay, let me make that
Yeah.
motion again. So I'll make a motion to approve the 3 job descriptions with the amendment that the event coordinator will also do off-season recreation.
And that, we'll add
And
municipality.
we'll add municipality experience into the caretaker, facility manager position as well.
So,
Okay, do I have a second? Okay, all those in favor? Awesome. review the revised lodge rental agreement.
Can I just go to this? So Joe, what do you think, what's the best way to do this? Should I have Dory send these, I'm gonna send these to Dory, should she send them to Lisa so that the Wage and Personnel Board has these ahead of time to review them?
Yeah.
Or am I gonna be expected to read all of that again in front of me?
No, you won't.
Okay.
Yeah, send it to Lisa. I just sent an email, just called for her on Tuesday, so as soon as you get it, so the better, so the approved June 5.
Okay.
I can do a rough, explanation if you need me to,
Okay.
but Wage and Personnel is open anyway, so if anyone wants to come by.
I'll be there at the Tuesday meeting anyway, so I won't do the in-depth reading that.
Yeah, I'll go, but
No, no, no.
I'd rather not.
I'm sure Mr. Hickey will make me.
But no, as long as we get it ahead of time, basically what we do is just everybody read it, and if anyone has any questions, just bring them up, and then if we have to read it, we will. But it's all public information, so
Okay.
we get it ahead of time.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Great. Okay, so, next item, review and revise lodge rental agreement. I actually don't have this in front of me. Is everybody have it?
Yeah, I didn't
print mine.
pass it out.
If you need it.
No, I'll share with Melissa. Shall I answer, Jerry?
Yep, go ahead.
So this is the last time you had requested two changes which were made. The catering fee has been added to the front page, $150. And then wedding only and wedding and ceremony, which were the 2 points that you made, which were excellent points. Those have been changed. And then in the guts of it, we took out the insurance piece that didn't make any sense whatsoever. Took that out. And kept everything other than that in, but the things that I put, and you can see where the arrows are. So these are the two things for discussion for tonight. So the cancellation policy and deposits. Well, see the last sentence where it says the Hanson, and this was in there, the Hanson Recreation Department reserves the right to cancel any reservation for any reason. In such an event, the Hanson Recreation Department shall return all deposits and fees paid by the reserving party. I don't know if you wanted to keep that in there. I just feel like if I were a bride, that would make me very nervous. I don't even know what that means. Hanson Recreation Department.
Are we allowed to touch this? Is this
I think
legal?
this was all approved by the legal department.
Yeah, so I don't know if we
Yeah.
can even,
So I think if we wanted to take it out, we probably need to get approval by,
Well, yeah, if you vote, whatever you vote tonight, then
Yeah.
I'll send it over to Lisa for approval. But, I mean, I can leave it in and question it.
yeah.
I mean, I think it just gives us an out, like if there's some, like if it's not written in there and there's some sort of, I don't
It's
know.
crazy.
We had
some-
blood inside the.
Yeah, there's something, it just doesn't give us any kind of out for, I mean, we've never enforced it.
No.
I mean, I suppose that's something you can say to them, like, it's in there, it's illegal term,
Yeah.
but
Right.
it's never been enforced, but it does kind of give us, if we ended up canceling this bride's wedding, because like Sheila
Yeah,
said, we have
the
bad blood,
bathroom
what if she sues
Yes,
us?
you know.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
right.
Because of all the stuff that she's done for her wedding,
I didn't think that. Yeah, so maybe that should
Yeah.
say. Okay.
I'd keep it in there.
Okay. No, that
If
makes
somebody, if
sense.
somebody asks about it, like, well, what's this all about? Be like,
That's like
it's a
like-
lawyer thing.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And the second one, this is an addition. The following is not allowed in Eagles Lodge and may result in loss of security deposit. Open flames, live animals, walk machines, confetti glitter, nails, tacks, pins, staples, and walls.
I think you might have to add service animals in there. Not as not being allowed there, but maybe with the exception of service animals.
Yeah.
It says live
Oh,
animals.
live animals with the
Yeah.
exception of.
Yeah, if somebody wants to bring their service parakeet or something.
Yeah.
Now, was there other things that we were banning?
Is glitter in there?
Yeah.
Okay, fog machines?
Yeah.
Is that in there? Nails and staples,
Yeah.
tacks, anything that goes into the walls, I guess.
Yep.
Live animals would be fish.
There's somebody who brought fishing.
So many fish.
And
Really?
Multiple weddings we had fish. Yep. Interesting.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, confetti in general, is confetti in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, caught me off guard, now I'm running.
You still get physical with it coming down here.
I mean, so one other thing I would add there,
Bird seeds?
not that it would ever happen.
Was birdseeds one of them?
Oh, fake rose petals, like,
Oh, yeah.
because those get thrown into the nature. They can be real, they just can't be fake ones.
Okay.
Those are really hard to.
Artificial rose petals.
I'd say artificial. planted, not our.
Not plants,
Like,
but
rose
rose
petals,
petals.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if they're on like the stick though, like the rose?
Well,
stick?
Well, the problem is when they spread them out across the deck, they go under the deck and then they get into the environment.
Okay,
And it's hard to like recollect, so like they're real, we can just push them into the, into the world, so they're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But the fake ones, we have to like walk around and collect all of them because they fly off into the.
The breeze will allow us before we can like go around and collect them, the wind will catch them and blow them down.
Oh, yeah, I completely get that, yeah, you have
Yeah.
the pond and everything, fish, yeah, everything like that, yeah. No, I
Maybe
agree.
like loose artificial.
Yeah, loose artificial
Yeah,
flowers.
Yeah, fluff, yeah.
I would also add anything like, cleats, metal shoes, things like that, if somebody wants to come tap dancing in here for some
Oh, we
reason.
had that once. Yeah. Not to let it be, they scraped the over up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
All the memories,
Singing and tap dancing, all the time. I'm throwing rose petals at her, yeah. That's it. Yeah, I like Sheila. Okay, are those the only two changes, Cory?
That's it,
So I
yeah.
guess we just have to get legal to sign off on this, right?
Yep,
Yes.
yep.
Yeah, just, I mean, the first section can stay the same, the
Yeah.
second section is the one that we had things to, and then if we want to send it over to legal. Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the revised lodge rental agreement with the new policies under security deposit, adding live animals, other than service animals,
Yep.
fake roses, and metal tap dancing shoes.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, it's not in my mind.
Actually, hold on, is it, okay. Because I call on people in the middle of motions and I forget where I am, so, okay, so.
I'm sorry, this might be a part of the security deposit thing anyway, but maybe something along the lines of like not modifying furniture, like where one of our, we had an issue with picnic bench, where someone took the bench off the picnic bench, like something like that, where they, like, I would assume broken furniture or something is in there.
I mean, yeah, that's damage. That's
Something like
damage.
that, okay, just wanna make sure that that would be covered.
Okay, so I have a motion that was moved by Audrey, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Sheila, all those in favor? Awesome, great. Okay, so update team members. So this is on the agenda because we have Caroline here. So, we have teams here that we kind of assign ourselves to, and we have different tasks that are kind of put on those teams. For example, I'm a part of the maintenance facilities team. So we have events team, we have a code team. Let's see if I can remember that. Code team, facilities. We have Facebook and website upkeep. Social media.
Keep me away from that.
And is that, do we only have 4 teams?
so, yeah, facility administration, facility, social media, and events.
Yep. So,
So I think we should, I mean, we haven't done this since Sheila's been here, so
Yes,
she
we
hasn't
should.
been added to a team. I don't even remember what teams I'm in, so I think.
I feel like we're all
we
kinda
had
taking
so-
this
I know,
collectively,
we
so-
had so many people leave
Yeah.
that we just, so I think we just need to agree
Okay.
totally.
so I'll start. So with the events team, is anybody here interested in being a part of the events team? Melissa? Okay, we can have 3 people.
Yep.
Yeah, so, Caroline, Sheila.
Yep.
Well, we have 5 of them, so
Yeah.
we'll take all of them, but, you know, so if you guys want, so Melissa. Okay.
And now that we have 5, we can meet, 3 of us can meet.
Yes, you can, yes, you can meet 3. Well, we can meet 3 at a time anyway. The quorum only applies to the whole size of the committee, not the size of the committee. From my understanding.
Well, I think that's why we do the team members, because normally we would be a board, we would be able to meet on anything, but I think the team
So-
members, I think that's the reason for the team members as opposed to a subcommittee. That's what I've been told.
Okay,
I
so-
can also double check that.
So at the next town meeting, if that article that we have passes, that brings us down to 5, we'll have to reorganize the team down to 2. Because 3 would then be a quorum, so.
But I don't know
But I
if
think-
being a team member gets around that. I just remember a long time ago talking with Mary about that, that's a reason
She
we
has
came up with team
right,
members.
teams rather than.
Rather than a subcommittee, so,
Okay.
but let me check into that, because that's a good question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last thing I need.
Yeah,
Okay, so then we have the Cove team. I'll take that one.
I'll take that too.
Audrey, okay, so me and Audrey can take it. And we have facility, I'll take the facility.
I'll take it too.
Okay. And we have website and social media, I'll call it social media.
I would
Melissa.
kind of like the single one, but I would like some help.
That would be great, yeah.
Awesome, and then we have the administration team.
I'll take it. And Karen. And Karen.
Awesome, so those are the teams.
All right.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to bring up that is, well, actually two things I want to bring up that's kind of outside the agenda. In terms of social media, I think we should probably make a post to the town, asking what kind of recreation they want to see in the town, and kind of get ideas from the public about, you know, what they like to see here, whether it's more camping or more this or that. I think just a little bit of outreach on that, you know.
We do a,
Poll.
like a Google survey or even. We
Yeah.
did do a, it was 2 recreation directors ago. He did do a survey. And we did poll a lot of the folks. I can pull that. I think I still have the results from that. It was a few years ago, but still, it would be data from it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll just keep it separate from the current one.
Yeah.
Just have it there, like, if people want to see more dances at the camp or something, like, I want to get more input from everybody so we can start scheduling more events. I don't want it to be solely based on kids or solely based on older adults. I want it based on kind of everybody, right? So, I also want people to know that the camp is here, that we're doing stuff. And, you know, so that's that. Okay, and the other one is correspondent. So this was from last meeting that we had here. I'm going to keep the discussions on this pretty brief, pretty short. If anybody has discussion, please feel free to let it go, let it out. This was a letter that we got from Deb Bloss over the weekend. I didn't have time to add to the agenda because the agenda was posted on Wednesday, or sorry, Friday, but this is a correspondence, so it should follow the whole business. So that being said, did everybody get to read the letter first off? Does anybody have any discussion on the letter? One way or another?
I just wanted to say this letter really bothered me. I don't feel like the night of the meeting, like myself, I can just speak for myself, that I was fully, what's the word I'm looking for, aware of all of this kind of stuff, and I think I kind of tried to ask that question and it really didn't get answered. But after I read this letter, it's really troubling to take in, knowing that this is how someone who's coming in to provide some recreation here into the town was treated, and we, you know what I mean, as commission members are, I guess, to blame, I guess you could say, you know what I mean, by not overseeing that or whatever the case may be. But I don't know if there's all truth to it. I don't know the whole situation, but after reading this, and I just have to say, I mean, I don't think things like this should happen at all. No one should feel like this.
Is there any other discussion on it?
Yeah, I was very troubled by it as well. I just wanted to say, I mean, she sent this email on February 13th, which is when? Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
And I believe I saw that our meeting recording didn't post until yesterday. So I was on call the whole time, and I don't feel like we were hostile. I don't think that I think we were just trying to understand where she came from, what was, had the representative. She wasn't there. I didn't think it was a hostile call at all. The other thing too is, I've been with the commission for over 3 years. I have never had her come to a meeting. I think she came to maybe one meeting once. And this is the first time I've heard about dirty floors, displaced classes, general neglect on a regular basis. I mean, Maddie, has she complained to you about caretakers not providing service? I've never heard that complaint, ever.
I think one time she told me that there was like an issue with the floor, but I've texted the caretakers and said just make sure that we're adamant about speaking before previously. I think the issue too is winters make it hard because it's just following drama kids. But I've tried to keep up with any time that she's said like, oh, the floors have been dirty. I'm like, okay, we'll keep up with it, trying to make sure that they're clean. But that's all as far as I know about drinking waters.
Yeah, like she's never come to a meeting and said anything about that, so I was shocked about that. And then, you know, the Zoom meeting, she had to, the representative had to drive home, she wasn't aware, but our meetings are posted. We have a notice of meeting, like, it's posted ahead of time where the location is, so I mean, you know, I feel terrible that she feels like this, but, you know, we've been dealing with this also for a year, I think, and she's never come to a meeting, so I don't know.
Okay. So I'll just make it brief about my feelings for it. I don't like that any vendor who signed a contract with us has 7 paragraphs of complaints and things that they don't like about what here at the camp. I feel like anybody who has, I'll echo Melissa on here, anybody who has a complaint, no matter how small, should come to us, to come to Dory, to come to any of us, and bring it in front of us in a public meeting so we can fix it. We can't fix what we don't know. If not just Deb, but if any vendor has an issue with the policies or procedures that we have in place or a contract that we have in place, they should bring it to us. And they should say, this is the issue that I have, preferably before the contract goes into play, and preferably not 4 months after the contract goes into play. Not saying one way or another, but I asked for the next agenda to have the representatives from the other vendors that we currently have, Drama Kids, Paint Night, Roger's Rentals, and I don't know if Ariana's going to be joining, but so we can actually go through and talk to them about if they have any concerns like this, they can bring it to us. That being said, I hate that Deb feels this way. I hate that she's not doing yoga at the camp anymore. But we can't make one exception for Deb when all of our other vendors have the same policy in their contract that they currently have in place. That's my opinion on it. And the commission voted that way at the last meeting. But this is not. I don't like getting this email any day of the week, especially a Sunday, about somebody feeling this way. Because clearly it's not right. If she's paying for caretakers to be here, or we're promising her a particular service, we should do that service. So if there's no other discussion on this, I'll move forward.
I'm just going to say something. I recuse myself because Debbie's my friend, and I'm not going to comment on this, on Debbie at all. But I do want to use this as a learning example for how we should be treating our vendors. I don't think that vendors know that they can come to us, because I have heard complaints of other vendors. And I don't think that they feel like that the board is approachable. And I'm not saying this board, I'm saying, a board. So I asked Frank to get our vendors on the next agenda so we can discuss, but I also think if we're making changes to a contract, that we should be inviting our vendors to our meetings to discuss the changes in the contract. And that wasn't done with any of these contracts.
Yeah, and on that note, I mean, we can put a lot of blame on other people.
No, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying, moving forward, I think we need to use this as a learning tool, so that, these contracts are going to come up again in June, right? They're all expiring in June. So I think we should start discussing as a board, any changes that we want to make, and I think we should invite our vendors to a meeting to discuss their contracts, what's going well, what's not going well. We want to implement this fee, well, whatever it's going to be. I feel like all of the vendors were blindsided by that increase, because it wasn't discussed with them prior to them receiving the contract.
Yep, and that makes sense. And what I was saying is as the old commission, but now we're the commission here, so this is our fault now that we should have done this before, I guess is what I'm saying. So we're in charge of it now, so it's our fault that we let it get to this point as well. So
the other thing too about that is, I think it'll be good because a lot of the vendors don't know where we're coming from. They don't see the budget numbers. They don't see that, we have no money to pay caretakers to paint. I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah.
And I don't think they realize that we can't cover the hourly rate for caretakers. That was the reason why it came, because we couldn't afford it.
Right.
You know, and I don't think that they understand.
Especially with last year's town meeting article. But
Yes.
besides the point, you know, there's multiple reasons, I'll get to the second point, sorry. So there's multiple reasons why this rate was increased. I watched the meeting, there's multiple reasons, everybody had a point to it. But we need to do, like Audrey said, we need to do a better job of informing the vendors what the contract's gonna be, hearing their disputes that they have. They also need to be able to come to us with any complaint that they have about anything, and feel completely open that they're not gonna get chastised or mistreated in any other way that they do it. That's unacceptable. The fact that anybody felt that if they complained about something, or if they did, that they would be, you know, mistreated in another way, or held a grudge against them, that's just unacceptable. That should not happen. So, I'm just saying that. Dory, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I like the idea of the vendors coming into a rec meeting, but I just want to clarify for the record that all of the vendors were notified by me about the change, about the vote, how it was going to be, and all of the vendors other than one were okay with the change.
When was that, Dory?
This was after April, when it was voted in April.
Okay.
So they were notified. It's not like it was, and they signed it. They signed a new contract with that contingency in there.
And I do have all,
I don't want you to think that it was, they were bamboozled, they didn't know what they were signing or anything. It was discussed, it was explained, it was purely financial. And everyone said more than fair, except for one vendor.
I have all the contracts for the vendors that we have here. Every single contract has the same stipulation. It's not anything different than anybody else, and like I said, I feel terrible that it felt this way. And I wish we handled it back in October when it went into effect, and not in February or January. So that being said, we can go ahead and move on from that if there's no more discussion, and we can go on to team reports. I really don't have anything.
I just have a question about that first. Are we going to, is this dead in the water, or are we going to make any attempt to right a wrong, or try to, or are we just, okay, move on?
So,
I mean, she clearly has stated that she doesn't want any part of it, but, I mean, because of what she's listed, or...
So yes, so there's a couple of things that I personally think that we should definitely get. In fact, I know I talked to Dory about a couple. Number one, we shouldn't be doing wedding tours when we have people here doing stuff, right? We should be scheduling wedding tours at particular times when we don't have vendors on site. You know, if the Board of Selectmen wants to meet at the lodge on a particular Saturday and there's another scheduled event there, it puts us in kind of a shitty spot, right? Because we can either deny the Board of Selectmen or we can move the vendor that's here. It's kind of a no-win situation for us right now. But also on the other hand, like if somebody's paying for a caretaker $15 an hour to be there, and they're paying that caretaker either $15 an hour, that caretaker should do what they need to do for the vendor, and do what the vendor expects. I mean, the only thing that we can do is kind of make those policies more known. And I mean, if anybody has any ideas of how to remediate that, I'm all open. We can put it on the agenda for whatever ideas people have about how we can handle the situation better in the future. Or if we want to go through it and come June, renegotiate this or redo this contract to something different, that, as a committee, we have to do that. So.
No, I don't mean the contract in general, I'm talking about yoga. Is it done?
I mean, I don't know what,
Or are we gonna?
she's known of this since April. And I don't know what else, unless Frank's right, like, just change the.
So we can't have somebody doing anything here without a contract. If she signs the contract and we're more than willing to work with her, I would imagine, in terms of, having people here and her having yoga, so she doesn't have to pay that $50 fee. But vendors need to have a contract to do something.
Sure.
We can't really have her here without a contract. If she doesn't want to sign the contract, then we can't really do that. So, I don't really know of any other situation that would kind of mediate that. If anybody knows, let me know, because I'd be interested in it. Because I do think that the service she provides is important. But we also have other things.
It's kind of sad to see it.
It is sad. It's extremely sad. It's very sad because you know what the thing is.
It's affecting a lot of people in town.
it is,
I understand that. I completely agree. And it is a sad situation that, in multiple ways. But realistically, I mean, you know, we can't afford to pay caretakers to pay bills. You know, I mean, this is just something that needs to happen. You know, if we're getting $8 from a vendor, you know, from a classroom for being here, we're paying $30 for a caretaker to take care of it, you know, using money in that. So, as much as we have to provide recreation for the town, we also have to make Hanson Point sustainable, and maybe then we can help keep the camp and pay the people who are here. Honestly, work a lot more hours than they're getting paid for. So, it's a no-win situation, in my opinion. So, that being said, we'll move on from that. We can go over to team reports. Does any of the teams have anything to report? I mean, we just assigned most of the teams, but. Okay, so we'll go ahead over to departmental updates. I asked Lori to put on ARPA discussion here, because we sent some information over to the town administrator this week.
Yes.
Lori did that, great, so. That was helpful. Go ahead, Lori.
okay, thanks, Mr. Chairman. So ARPA is the American Recovery Protection Act, that I'm sure probably, well, maybe not everybody's aware of, but, and it's funded to help municipalities. It's all, you know, due to COVID related. So just so I went through and pulled the revenue reports, and you can see, like if you look at the top sheet, FY 2022, you see the revenue that we pulled in to date is $184,000 generated to date, which is good. We're bouncing back. But if you look strictly COVID related, we were only generated $66,000 in revenue in FY 21. That's directly COVID related. If you look back to FY 17, we had $319,000 in revenue. So it's just an example I sent to the town administrator so she can submit it. Hopefully we can get some funding back to help us through ARPA. It would be fantastic.
That'd be
Use it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Who receives those funds and then decides where the money goes? Like, is that, like, would that come directly to us, or is it
Yeah.
like a general fund that goes to the town and then somebody decides?
Yeah, no, my understanding is that this would be for us.
For us.
For our defense, because it's specific to our lots. We had no revenue for a year, because of COVID.
Yeah, that would be that would be huge if we got one additional,
Yeah.
$200,000 or something like that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so I'll keep you updated.
Yeah, okay, no, cash at that point, right, so.
People
Yeah.
building.
Awesome.
Tapped.
Tap in, okay, any other departmental update, Dory?
Just the roof, so we have snow on the roof right now, but I did speak with Steve today, who's our Eagle Build and Repair. And once the snow is melting a bit, it's supposed to warm up the temperatures. He's going to get working on the roof. He already has the shingles here. He's coordinated with Scott Sheet Metal, who's going to do the hood and the ductwork. So that will all be done. The roof, the plans to be done by the end of this month, and the sheet metal, the hood, and the ductwork may be done in March, but it would be, even though we have events, but it would be okay because the kitchen would be workable. It's just that the new stove may not be hooked up at the beginning of March, but it hasn't been hooked up ever. So, you know, thinking about it today, I'm like, well, there's no difference there anyway. They've never had it hooked up, so it'll be fine. So we should have the roof done by the end of the month, and beginning of February, by the middle of February, the new stove should be hooked up.
I feel it.
I know.
It's been like years.
I know. I think it's fine. I think that's happening. It's happening.
We should just turn
There's
it
not even that the stove turning ceremony.
Okay, awesome, is that it, Dory?
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Caretaker report. Abby?
I just have one question. I realized, because March is coming up, so I'm gonna start scheduling for March. We, as far as the years I've ever been here, I've never had a double booking before, so I just want to make sure that I'm aware, because I know we changed the policies and procedures. So are these two events on the new 5-hour, like, thing, instead of the 4 hours with the 2 extra hour setup situation?
Yeah, there's 2 hours in between. Yeah.
Right, so-
Two events.
Are these events the ones, though, that we, like, remember what used to be 4 hours and we did a 2 hour setup? Are these the 5-hour ones?
Yes.
Without 2 hour setup?
Correct.
So the goal of this is that they're not coming in early. They're coming in at the beginning of their 5 hours and staying just until the end and then it's over?
Right, so the caretakers will have 2 hours in between to clear and set up. for the
Okay,
next one.
so there's no setup time? just to make
Correct.
sure, okay.
What kind of an event is it, or are they?
There's-
It's a birthday party and an anniversary.
It's a baby shower.
Baby
birthday
shower.
party.
Yeah, baby shower. Yeah, that's the first double booking I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've
But
never
it worked out
worked
kind of because of the new schedule. Before, we wouldn't have been able to do it with 6 and 6.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's pretty cool, double booking in one day.
That's great. Double books of weddings too.
Yeah.
Morning weddings, night weddings.
No.
Not weddings.
No. Okay,
Author. No, that was my only question. I don't have anything else to add. Caretaker's report.
I do have a question on, well, actually, I know Roger, you probably have a facilities thing, but in the front, in the entranceway, is that damage? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, is that on your report?
No, it's not on the report, but we'll talk about it as soon as you brought it up.
Okay.
Due to large icicles hanging off that front, a caretaker tried to break the ice off, and part of the expression, the half-assed gutter that was up there, split and broke, so it's in worse shape. So after the roof is done, I'm gonna do something in conjunction to cover where the stairs are with a.
It looked funky to me when I was walking into this something.
Yeah, that's what happened there.
Matt?
I have one more thing before we roll. I just thought about this while we were sitting here. Have we had any talks of any plans of doing floors before the events start kicking off and the weddings? Like getting the floors redone? Because they haven't been done in 2 years because we didn't do it pre-COVID either.
Yeah, we have 56 weddings coming, so what do we have in contracted services?
See, that's my only worry is spending money, because I did speak with him and it's about like 2,500
Yeah.
for him to do it, and I do think that they should be done. I'm just nervous about the funding for it.
Can we get a buffer machine
We used to have
and
one.
do it ourselves?
There's one in the art. There's one in the art cabin, but I don't know how usable it is. We've never tried to use it. We kind of just saw it in there, but I've never been trained on
I've never
using
seen it
bumpers
used.
since I've been here. Never seen it used.
Jack Heem used to use it by himself in this building, so, I mean, I'm not saying Jack was, but he was a little guy, and he could handle it. And I'm sure that, it's,
I would have no issue with if we were trained how to do it ourselves. I just get nervous because this is like our selling point is this floor. Like people walk in and go, "The floor is beautiful,"
Yeah,
but now we're
we
2
don't
years.
want to wreck anything.
Yeah, we're 2 years in and it's looking really rough. Like it looks dirty even when it's clean because it's so scraped from wedding season.
do you want me to maybe reach out, maybe Brian there knows how to use the machine, maybe he could come and train us how to use the
So,
machine?
we have the gentleman from the town hall, Charlie Baker.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he has any, because he was I believe he's the custodian there now, but I think he used to do that also.
Yeah.
I can
Also.
check for Charlie.
Yeah, check for Charlie to see if he
Let
knows
him
how to
know
do
that
that.
we have the buffer, and
Yeah.
if it's something he knows how to use.
Maybe.
It might be something we could rent too.
Oh, yeah. I'll have Charlie see if he has any experience in that,
Yeah.
because I'd rather, if he could do it, and he may
Right.
probably have a buffer somewhere at town hall, or
Right.
maybe, one of the facilities in town has it, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can use the school one though, I think that's not really town, I don't think that's really town. But you can't just go take it out.
Rent them?
We might be able to
I think
rent
that's
it out.
Yeah. I can go out. Anyway, okay, so, Rod, do you have a caretaker report for us?
Yeah, just show one, I know, kind of jumping ahead. When will you guys start working on whether we can open the Cove or not?
I think we voted on that,
Well,
Yeah, we have the dates.
the issue and the shortage of lifeguards.
I think
So when we start digging into that, when the time comes and it'll come
do you know
fast.
lifeguards that wanna assist?
I thought we talked about posting jobs so that we could interview in March.
Yeah.
For spring break.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Have we posted for the job yet?
Can we post that? Do we need to, so how do we?
We voted on it to post for lifeguard jobs and to do it during spring break.
Okay.
Yeah, I just say,
Yeah, people in their own, they can come during spring break.
Post that
Yeah.
on the,
I'll post it, yeah.
yeah, can we post those on the
Yeah.
website, and we can just share them and things like that, so.
Are we also gonna be hiring a beach director?
Yeah. The beach director.
Um,
I have those job descriptions if you need them. There weren't really any needed changes to those, so we didn't revamp them, but I have those job descriptions if you want them for the website.
Yeah. Will you send them to me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
the bees is gonna be the biggest issue.
the bees are the issue and there's a little bit of work that has to be done inside the building.
Yeah, the building itself is an issue.
The the beach house?
The beach house itself. There's work that's gonna be done down there, but if we're not gonna open it because of, lifeguards or whatever, I'd hate to see energy put down there for nothing.
Well, I think energy would probably need to push down there anyway, so it doesn't deteriorate for
Right.
next year.
Well, yes.
Okay, so let's,
I just want to bring that up and, get the wheels turning there and, so we'll know as caretakers what we have to do. And like I say, we'll know how much energy we're going to put into, the building itself.
okay. That's
Obviously,
good.
you gotta keep it up, but
Yeah.
there are things, when they did the, winterization, the plumbing for the sink needs to be addressed. I can handle that, it's
Yeah, I mean, we
$20
wouldn't,
and maybe an hour's worth of work.
yeah, so we wouldn't start doing that now, we'd probably start doing that like April or
Right.
April or something like that, but yeah, no, that's a good.
But I just don't want you coming to me or these guys here and saying, 1st of April, oh, you gotta hurry to get this place
Yeah,
ready.
we'll let you know.
We don't want that.
We'll let you know.
Okay.
No, she'll take before it opens, right?
Yeah.
There's still the water issue when it pours up, the place is still too hot.
It was a skate rink inside.
Yeah, I was there for the polar plunge.
Yeah.
It was, on the inside, it was awesome.
Yeah. There's more ice in there than was on the pond.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, no, definitely, yeah, I mean, so I have that list of, pictures and maintenance items from different cabins that I'm putting together, I'm putting together like 2 or 3 weeks now, so, and we can just add that in there, we can add the bathhouse, I can go down there and take pictures or something like that, when you guys can show me the issues with the bathhouse, I can go there, take pictures and add them to that list, and I'll give it to everybody in the community, because there is some issues around the camp that absolutely need to be addressed before, the season comes, there's some that are kind of like nice to have, but some that absolutely need to be addressed, so that'll be on the next meeting's agenda,
As far as the trees go, as soon as the good weather hits, I'm cutting.
Yeah, so there is trees that are there that absolutely need to get cut down. And there's some there that Roger cannot cut down, and there's some there that I can go cut down, and I'm not even a tree guy, so. Maybe I'll go for a lesson.
Can I just say, Roger, I don't want you cutting trees down here when you're by yourself. You always have somebody here with you when you're cutting trees down, right?
No, but I can do that.
Yes, please.
I don't like
I
when
told
people,
him about that.
Yeah,
I waited for Dory to leave on that big one, I
Yeah,
told her
no.
where was gonna go.
When me and Roger walked the camp last time, I said I don't want to find him under a tree.
Yeah.
He's laying around, I jumped on a tree, so.
A lot of them have to be roped, so I'm going to need some muscle to go with it, just to make sure they don't go the wrong way. So yes, there will be other people here.
Okay.
All right, you ready for the big one?
Sure.
I did the additional pages on the plans for replacing the South 16. The one that got taken out, you probably don't know. 2 years ago, there was one of the cabins in a tree crushed during one of the storms. They totally took it down because it was junk. I did this additional plans that the building inspector asked for. I took them to him last Friday. He liked them to this point, but he turned around and said that he had talked to the state, and the state will not let us build that building. So we're gonna have to go out to bid on that and have that done that way. I will continue to follow up on that with your blessing. Right now, we're working with the insurance company, getting estimates for all the damages out there. That included, he's gonna go again, give us an estimate on that there. And then we're gonna have to go for bids on that particular building because of the cost.
So why won't the building inspector let us do that?
Because the person with the license would have to be on site all the time,
Okay,
and he's not available at all times.
okay.
So I don't have a license, so I cannot run the job.
Okay.
So I just wanted to update you on that, and we'll move forward with the bids process as time progresses.
Exactly, I was just gonna say to Roger's point that Steve, as you just mentioned, from the person who's doing the roof is giving us a quote on that, that will be our scope of service, and then I'll send it out to 3.
Okay, so Steve is the same guy who's doing that, will also quote us the cap as well?
Exactly,
Yes.
and then
I
we'll
like
send that
that.
out, and then, because we do have to do it by October, so we have plenty of time. Not plenty of time,
Right.
so, but,
I mean, you can't take that one, to do it. It's all wood.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're doing anything inside of it.
Supply chains, though,
Yeah.
was
We got plenty of trees we can chop.
It would do have the insurance.
Okay.
The
Yes.
smaller jobs, we'll be able to handle within camp, but as far as structural, then I don't.
Does he have a guideline of what we can do here and what we can't do here when it comes to what we need for a license and what we can't? Because I don't want to keep going back and forth with the building inspector when he says, oh, you can do this, but you can't do this, and then 2 weeks later he says, we can't do that, we gotta do this. So if there's like, I don't know if he can make us a list to say, you guys can do anything that's not,
If it's gonna get into structural, then you need a licensed person.
okay, okay. Okay, so any other discussion about anything?
It's gonna be a universal license,
A commercial license, yeah, it can't be a residential.
unspecified, is that what they call it?
Yeah, all, it's called commercial, all something, all purpose, something, I
Something
forget
like that,
exactly,
yeah,
but
that's why
it's not
Joe
a,
can't do it.
yeah, it's not a residential. I know one of our popular people has a residential, single and double family, but he's not allowed to do the work on the cabins because it's not the commercial, all purpose, or whatever it's called.
Awesome, any other discussion?
Jen, you guys have
Jen,
anything?
that's good? Awesome. Nothing?
Nothing?
Annie?
Nothing.
Anything else? Okay. Awesome. Joe? Joe, nothing? No? Okay, so, that being said, I will entertain before we do that, we gotta schedule the next meeting, don't we? I do that every time, I caught myself this time, no, give me 1 second. So, I know one of them is gonna be the 28th, because that is a Monday. That is 2 weeks from today. And then the meeting after that would be the 14th of March. Anybody have any issues with either of those dates? Go back to our regular,
Sorry, the 28th.
the 28th of February,
Yeah.
and then the 14th of March.
The 14th.
I mean, we could do the 28th of March too, we'll have all three of those.
Yeah.
Any issue? No? Awesome.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay,
Yeah.
understood. Okay, fantastic. That being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a second? Second, all those in favor? Awesome, thank you very much, everybody.